Sedona is really beautiful. A lot of red rocks, beautiful canyons and creeks.
It's got rivers, it's got mountains, it's got bike riding, it's got ATV recreation. There's lots of Forest Service roads for them. There's great vistas.
By day, I mean, this is just a beautiful area. At night, it's pitch black. It's a terrifying place to be.
I love being outdoors and traveling and riding my ATV. My cousin helped me purchase an ATV, and I've been riding it ever since. On the day of the accident, I had a date, and we decided to go out and ride my ATV. It was the first time that I brought a date riding, and she was thrilled. She loves to ride the ATV, so she was willing to go. We were riding through the wash and through the dry creek bed, and we'd done several passes.
When they came to cross again to get back to wherever they were going, the creek was up much higher and they didn't realize it because it was dark.
But the water pushed us off the ATV and into about 2 feet of water, and my date wanted to try to cross to get to the bank. I told her, no, you need to stay with me. The current of the water's too strong.
I've got a scanner in every room in my house, in my office. I've got 6 scanners in my van. I started hearing tones go out on the radio. I realized it was a water rescue. And anytime they dispatch a water rescue, I just automatically roll to it.
I had just finished dinner, and that's when I received the phone call that they had a swift water rescue call. I told them, yes, I'm available, I can respond. So I headed to the fire station, grabbed my gear, headed straight to the scene. I had a little bit of a rush going because I thought, well, maybe I'll get to go out and actually use my skills.
I parked up and around the corner, grabbed my camera and my tripod and took off running. I went straight for a tight shot on this because I had that just awesome view right there in the creek.
As soon as I got on scene, I reported to Tim Leffler.
I looked up at him, and he was one of our better students last spring when we trained in California. And I asked if he had all of his equipment, and he said he did.
So I got my gear on real quick and reported down to the boat.
We put 3 people in the boat. We put 2 in the front to help steer it.
When I first got on scene, I wasn't sure how long they'd been in the water. A couple of people told me that they'd been in there quite a while, possibly an hour, possibly 2 hours. And I knew that for them to be in the water that long in that cold of water, it was a dangerous situation because they're definitely going to be hypothermic and their hands are going to be freezing, so they won't be able to hold on or help themselves very much.
It was hard, but during that situation, I needed to be brave and hold on to her and hold on to the tree for my life as well.
Well, the people in that area had noticed that we were having a hard time with lighting, so they parked all of their vehicles out with the headlights out onto the river so that we had better lighting to help out.
Before we took off in the boat, we were told that one of the victims was hearing impaired. We realized that that was going to be a little more difficult to convey what we wanted them to do once we reached them. So once the boat, we got ourselves into position, it was really a tough place just because of the way the current was. The boat didn't want to stay right against the creek willows that they were clinging on to. So the guy in the bow had to run his paddle to the side. I had to reach around and grab some of the creek willows myself.
When the water is rising, there's a lot of debris coming down because the water level is coming up. Logs, branches, garbage, could be anything. Could be a vehicle, propane tanks, and it'll sweep that down, and if that hits us or one of the victims, it could sweep them downstream and make the situation a lot worse. It was definitely a situation where it was life or death.
I remember talking to Jake, and I said, Jake, when you reach there, make sure you got a really good grip before you pull, because you're going to have one chance. And I realized, you know, the way the water was, that they were going to get swept away if that didn't work.
Kind of had the feeling that it was a one-shot thing. I had to make it count.
One of the things I noticed is the lady, Heather, she started to get a look of despair on her face. She really started to look down like she was losing hope. After a few minutes, I noticed that she wasn't hanging on anymore. And basically it was all him holding her and himself to that tree.
She was having a really hard time holding on to the tree, so we decided to take her out first. As soon as we get her into the boat, I get situated again and pull us up close to Terry and get up underneath his arms and pull him into the boat also.
My stay at the hospital was for 3 days. I didn't have enough fluid circulating through my body. It was causing some physical pains, and then I tore a calf muscle. And the water was so cold, it was causing hypothermia.
The sheer power that Terry displayed that night, not only holding himself to that tree, but holding her to that tree, and taking the battering of nearly 2 hours of ice-cold, raging water hitting him. He managed to stay there, he managed to stay strong and basically save both of their lives.
After I was released from the hospital, I came back to this area with a friend of mine in his truck. He looked for and picked up my ATV because my ATV was stuck in the middle of the river, stuck in a tree.
Are you ready to meet the firefighters? Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good to see you warm and dry.
Yeah, I am so relieved. Thank you for helping us get out of the river and saving us.
You're welcome.
Very welcome. I feel a little bit uncomfortable, I guess, because I don't think of it that way. I don't think of myself as being a hero at all. I think I was just doing my job.
I've never considered myself a hero. I've been doing the job for about 25 years now, and you know, that's my job. I'm trained to do that, and we respond to emergencies.